Programang ito ay rated SPG. Striktong patnubay at gabay ng magulang ang kailangan. Maaaring may masiselang tema, lengguwahe, karahasan, sexual, horror o droga na hindi angkop sa mga bata.
At its peak, umabot sa 1,115 ang tumawag sa crisis hotline ng National Center for Mental Health sa gitna ng pandemic. 115 are suicide-related calls with an average of 53 per day.
As we all know that March is a celebration of National Women's Month. For today's first episode, we will be tackling about JUana Laban sa Pandemya. Kaya! I am your host, Floresa Suarez Gudito.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio.
Good day, everyone, and Juanas of Valencia City Water District. Let me welcome you to our very first episode of Lockdown Diaries Unlocked.
To my humble abode. Come in, come in.
Tuloy-tuloy ang daloy ng tubig mula sa gripo. Pero tandaan, ang malinis na tubig ay limitado. Ito ay nauubos. Ang malinis na tubig ay buhay. Bawal ang tubig aksaya. Dapat tipid-tipid. Sa paggamit ng tubig sa araw-araw, ito ang aming paalala. Tubig ay mahalaga, huwag mag-aksaya.
This year's campaign is different from previous ones because it is set on COVID-19 pandemic backdrop. Hence, this first episode will highlight on both opportunities and challenges for women. Ever friends, help me welcome our guest for today. A phenomenal woman, one of our wonder wonas of our society today. Ever gorgeous, Giancoco Paluga.
Thank you, Flo. It is indeed a pleasure to take part of this very important episode of Lockdown Diaries Unlocked.
So again, Ma'am ko, thank you for joining me today. So, how are you today?
I feel great. How about you?
I feel great too. Thank you for asking. So, with the onset of COVID-19,
The onset of COVID-19, actually I was on travel that time. And when I arrived here in Valencia, that was the time that we were quarantined immediately. During the quarantine period, that was like 14 days that I was just staying at home. And I feel, so there was some psychological effect on me, like I feel like coughing all the time. And the quarantine period, it was really the first time that I felt that it's really real. COVID-19 is real, so I have to keep myself healthy. So I was just doing some physical exercises at home while hearing some news or keep on monitoring on the news. And at the same time, I was worried about work, especially how we can really continue working, being in a essential agency. And now, since we are in the water industry, I cannot just say that it's COVID and we have to stop our operation.
during the declaration of community quarantine or lockdown, have you discovered any new skills, talents, or hobbies?
Well, yes, definitely. There were a lot of things that I have discovered and learned, especially during the height of the pandemic. Like anyone else, my anxiety level has really gone high, and with that, I don't want to wallow on my depression or the anxieties that I felt. Instead, it was an opportunity for me to turn it around and look into this situation differently. So first, it was the best time for me to rekindle my love for bonsai, and I have my collections for so long but was not able to take care of it. Number one, I love bonsai, but I don't have the skills on how to do it or to train my materials. And number two, there were no available tools that I need. So with that lockdown, I learned online buying. So it was so easy to order from online. So I make myself acquainted with Shopee and Lazada. And with that, I was able to order from online. And of course, YouTube University was one of the platforms that I really learned the craft of bonsai. And another thing that I learned also during the quarantine was vlogging. So it was one skill that I also love to learn, and it was very useful. And during the pandemic, while it's not only me who was feeling down, and a lot of women were also have that anxiety, especially on during the period where we cannot just go out. We were asked or requested or mandated to stay at home. So that was the period also that I helped in organizing a women's interest on riding motorcycle. So we were able, or I was able to help organize Bukidnon Riding Angels. The Bukidnon Riding Angel is a group of women who share the same interest, especially in riding motorcycle. And their interest that does not just end in the riding of the motorcycles. They use it also as a way to help or do some community service. Like they did tree planting activity, and they also went to a barangay who needed help, and they were very generous people, sharing not only their passion but sharing also the things they have to the children of one barangay in our city. And also, and the best thing that really happened to me during the pandemic was the creation of this place, because with the pandemic I feel that there is a need for me to find a place, a safe place for myself and for my aging father. So I couldn't just be a transmitter of the disease to my father. So this property has been long purchased, I think 10 years ago, and I didn't have the time to develop it. And with the pandemic, this place started from zero, and after 8 months, here it comes, and this is now the place. Further, looking on the things that I learned during the pandemic helped me transition or help myself to be equipped in the transitioning to a new normal. So having those skills like the vlogging and acquainting myself with YouTube made me acquainted with the platforms available to learning and to sharing, and especially being creative is one of the things that made me transform to be an adaptive person to the new normal.
So like you, there are many women also who have discovered or unleashed their potential. So what can you say or what can you share to them?
Well, I feel that women as we are, we have that gift of resilience. And I am happy to see a lot of women bouncing forward and adapting easily to the new normal. And that should be as we are facing this situation, we cannot just stay down, depressed, lost, because in the other side of the coin, there are a lot of things, or it offers a lot of opportunities to women who are willing to discover more of the talents and the gifts that they have.
How about to those women who feels lost or struggling this trying times?
Each of us has this gift that we should unleash during this pandemic, and inspiring those other women who have their struggles. Each of us can relate because each of us felt that way, but differently we have different strategy or response to coping up with this or coping with this situation. So we should also be responsible to other women who are lost and struggling. We should be holding each other and helping each other, caring for each other, and backing up with each other. We cannot afford to just let other women fell back because of this pandemic. Women should be empowering also other women.
What have you learned during this pandemic?
This pandemic, although it really brought us some negative things, especially on the abrupt change that we have to adapt. But on the other side of it, there are a lot of learnings that I gained. Number one, coping or adapting to a new normal. This new normal has challenged our abilities, especially in keeping ourselves in balance. Outside forces usually comes in our lives, and if we are not solid inside, then it would melt us just easily. And number two, whether you are rich or poor, or you are a professional or not, or if you are healthy or not, this faceless enemy has challenged everyone, especially in our economy. And it made me realize what should be the things that I value most. It should be not only the things that or the material things, just like what I have read. It is not how much your car is worth, or because during the pandemic you only have to stay at home. And even if you have all those, the luxury of, or the pinakamahal na mga bags or shoes or whatever those things that we use, but there was no party to celebrate. So it reminds us that life itself is a gift, and that it is not the most expensive things that we need, but we need more the love and support of our family and our friends during this time of pandemic.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio.
This could be my last question for today's episode. Who do you think you become during this pandemic?
I become, or I consider myself to be a better Juana, a warrior Juana, a self-preserving Juana, and a plantita, a vlogger, and a resilient Juana.
Okay. So before we conclude, any words for other Juanas out there?
Well, to all the Juanas, first allow me to congratulate all of us for being who we are today, for just being here today, and for breaking all the walls and coming up better person after or during this pandemic.
Okay. So, Ma'am ko, thank you very much for joining me today for this very first episode. It is maybe a short conversation, but it is a full of wisdom and knowledge. So, I hope that our virtual viewers or our virtual listeners today are encouraged and empowered by your words and by your sharing or revealing your diaries during the lockdown.
Pleasure is all mine, Flo. I really hope that my sharing today would be able to help also other women who are still or struggling during this time, and I really hope that we could encourage and other women to also to share, because it is the power of sharing that we also motivates other women to rise up from this phenomenon that we are experiencing.
Audio Jungle.